On the 16th of March, 1946, a group of children were hiking along a section of the Bruce Trail, adjacent to Albion Falls, when they came across a gruesome discovery. At first, the children thought that they had come across a headless pig resting partway down the escarpment, but upon closer inspection, it was revealed that the torso was of an adult male. The head, arms, and legs had all been dismembered, and there was a deep wound across the chest, leading investigators to believe someone had tried to cut the torso in half. The victim had also received 2 gunshot wounds to the chest. On this week's episode of Never Stop Learning, we are going to delve into the dark with a Hamilton true crime story. An investigation of the remains and a positive ID by his brother-in-law led police to the conclusion that the victim was Jonathan Dick. John, a Russian immigrant, had recently moved to Canada and gotten a job with the HSR as a streetcar driver. Dick had been reported missing to police on March 6th by his cousin and roommate Alexander Krummerer. Alex told them that he had been worried when he heard news of a torso being found in the woods and not having seen John in over a week. Dick had been living with him since his marriage had failed to his now estranged wife, Evelyn. They had been married 5 months before in a small ceremony against the wishes of her parents. The couple bickered constantly over adultery and money. Evelyn revealed to police that within days of the marriage, she had slept with her boyfriend, Bill Bohozik, and after 3 months, John and Evelyn had split up. Upon questioning, Evelyn responded to the news that the torso belonged to her husband by remarking, "Don't look at me, I don't know anything about it," then proceeded to tell a story about a well-dressed Italian hitman who arrived at her door looking for John. He said that he was going to fix him for messing around with his wife. He then left without telling Miss Dick who he was. Days later, police had learned that Evelyn borrowed a truck from a man named Bill Lanig. Lanig received the vehicle back with blood in the front seat, the seat covers missing, and bloody clothing in the back. Investigators proved the blood to be the same type as John Dick's. At this point, Evelyn told police that a mysterious stranger had called to inform her that John had made a woman pregnant and that he was getting what was coming to him. The man then asked her to meet so that he could borrow a car. Evelyn explained that she met the man and he had a large sack with him. He told her it contained part of John. Evelyn's story went on to say that she drove this man and his cargo to the dumping site. Evelyn's responses and demeanor were inappropriate. Psychiatrists found her to have a very low level of intelligence. In addition, it was reported that she had the mental capacity of a 13-year-old girl, although this diagnosis was surprising to many who knew her to be an extremely intelligent and manipulative person. Later, Evelyn changed her story again and signed a second statement regarding the involvement of Italian killers hired by Bill Bohozik. She took police on another tour, explaining in some detail how the crime was committed, including the location where John Dick was shot on a muddy road near Glanford, south of Hamilton. During all of this, investigators at Evelyn's home on Carrick Avenue made 2 gruesome discoveries. In the backyard of her home, police found bits of human bones mixed with ash and cinder from the furnace. As well, in the attic, they uncovered a suitcase that had been filled with concrete, and in the concrete were the remains of a baby boy born to Evelyn on September 5th, 1944. Faced with this turn of events, and having been told that her boyfriend Bill Bohozik had been brought in for questioning, Evelyn Dick changed her story yet again. She said that Bill Bohozik had murdered the child, and John Dick as well. Incriminating evidence, such as bullet holes in a pipe, a gun, ammunition, as well as saws and blood-stained shoes that were most certainly John Dick's, were found in Evelyn's father's basement. Evelyn Dick, Bill Bohozik, and her father, Don McLean, were charged with the murder of John Dick. Evelyn Dick's trial caused a media frenzy, and crowds turned up at the Hamilton courthouse to catch a glimpse of the beautiful suspect. In her first trial, Evelyn Dick was found guilty of John Dick's murder. She was sentenced to death by hanging. Although she may not have killed John with her own hands, Evelyn Dick was guilty of participating in the planning and carrying out of the crime, which was enough to find her guilty of murder. She appealed her case, and the verdict was overturned, but she was still found guilty of manslaughter in the death of her son and sentenced to life in prison. While in prison, she was a model inmate and was paroled in 1958. Afterwards, she assumed a new name and started a new life in an unknown location. If she were still alive today, she would be 101 years old. Thanks for watching this episode of Never Stop Learning. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. And if you like this episode, make sure you check out our 5 haunted locations in Hamilton, Ontario.